One important thing that I learned through my journey to Uganda was value addition. You guys remember I spoke to Mr. Richard and Value Farm, and they all said the same thing, which is value addition. And maybe you don't know or you haven't paid good attention to it, but people are making thousands and thousands of whatever your currency is just from goat farm. And today I'm going to consolidate all those ideas and things that they told me and share it with you guys on how can we actually create value in our livestock, specifically in goat farming. So if this is a content, then stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome to Farming in Africa once again, and my name is Fred. I'm back in Ghana and enjoying every bit of it. The farm, I was at the farm last week. It was amazing. The rainy season has started. We also got our goat consignment in, and I hope all those farmers that receive your pure goat from South Africa, you have actually landed at your farm safely and everything is going on well. Thank you guys so much for continuing being a fan of this YouTube channel. On this channel, I really talk about my mistakes, innovative way of farming, and just share everything that I know with you guys so that you will have the information at your fingertips and not make the mistakes that I have made and be able to succeed in whatever you decide to do in the agri business, wherever you find yourself in Africa and the borders beyond. Today we are talking about value addition, right? And before we do that, I want to take us back and prompt you to this, that most of you see me as maybe a content creator or a YouTuber or a farmer. Wrong. See me as a businessman. And our culture has really made it, maybe added a bit of negative quotation or perception to businessmen, people doing something for money. There is nothing wrong with money. And that's why most of us don't have enough, because if you don't like money, money was not going to come to you. That's a rule I learned from a very early age, right? So I'm a businessman. And therefore, if you're watching me and you're thinking about going into farming, or you're even doing farming now, I want you to start calling yourself an agro businessman, right? Maybe in the comment below, let me know if you're a businessman, you're an agro businessman, or you're just doing it for fun. But I think it's high time that we change the narrative, right? And our perception about farming and see it as business. My mom and dad farmed as farmers, and we were just subsistent farming. And that's why there was not a huge impact in their life in terms of financial growth, because they never thought of it as a business. My mom just wanted to feed his children, and he did that. He succeeded. I have no problem if that is what you're trying to do, right? Because he fed me, and now I am here. Without that food, I couldn't be here, right? So if that's what you want to do, great. But this video is for people that wants to do farming as a business, people that wants to add value to what they're doing. And I'm here to share with you from my journey to Uganda and my research and knowledge and personal experience, how do we create that knowledge in order to do it as business? Because what's the end of business? First, not to lose money. Second, at least break even. And third, at most, make profit. And that's how every business person thinks, right? So whatever kind of business you're doing, whether you're in the crop industry or in the livestock sector in agriculture, you want to make sure that you're first of all breaking even, you're making, you're making some profit as well, right? So don't lose the money that you invested in by breaking even, and try to make some extra so that you can expand or be, a nice farmer. A rich farmer. If you're a rich farmer, you would definitely encourage people like us to come into farming, right? So I think I wanted to clear that before we go into how do we create value in our livestock farming, but most importantly in goat farming, right? And the number one things, I think today I'm going to share 3 things with you guys and make this quick. But the number one thing that you want to start thinking about is feeding, right? There is a saying that you are what you eat. and you even probably smell by what you eat, right? If you're eating a lot of garlic, you'll be smelling. If you're eating a lot of spices, you will have a different smell. So whatever we eat, just like human beings, right? Livestock are also living beings, right? And therefore, whatever we feed them is going to be the results of how they become. If you see a very well-fed baby, you know. And if you see, a malnutrition baby too, you definitely know. What are the symptoms? Nothing different. Hair, eye color, growth, skin, all these things is the same with animals. I once had a veterinary man from South Africa to my farm, Vikus. I know if you're watching this video, I'm referring to you. But, he came and he taught me something really, amazing. He says, Fred, look at the animal's eye. Does this animal looks happy to you? Look at him and look at that one. What does that animal want? He wants sun. He just wants to go out, take that animal out. And honestly, truth be told, after I started taking those animals out, I saw a huge difference. So he said, they are communicating to you. Look at that animal's skin. Look at how he's standing. Look at how he's eating, right? So they're just like people, right? So whatever we're feeding them, here talking about nutrition, they will communicate to us through their eyes, through their body, through their growth. At my farm, every 2 weeks, we weigh our goats. And we weigh them because every healthy goat shouldn't be losing weight. And that's the easiest way for us to be able to know how our goats are growing and what we need to do, right? So feeding, I can go in details and do some recommendation in terms of feeding, but depending on your budget, right? Get a proper feeding system for your livestock. Get a better plan. I'm going to actually work on putting together like a feeding, maybe module or timetable for you guys that you can go to our website and download. I haven't put that together yet, but Bless is looking at me, so he probably will start working on that, and we can attach it to this video in our next video. But what I do at my farm is I feed them with brachiaria grass. So brachiaria grass is a grass that I imported from Mexico and Brazil. It has about 18% protein. I feed them green matter. I allow them to go out and graze on the brachiaria grass in the morning. In the evening, I feed them with dry hay, right? And then later, before I go to bed, we'll give them with grains. And grains depends on your budget, corn, soya beans, whatever that you have. And you also have to have different feeding sort of module for different type of goats, right? So the babies, the pregnant ones, the males, depending on what you're trying to do. If you want to speak to me more about this, you can also book some time in with me. In the description, there's a link there, and we can talk in details based on your farm. But I think we shouldn't take feeding, for example. If you go to the trash and pick trash for them, then you don't expect to get the value that you actually want to see in your livestock. So feeding is key, and I will want us to pay very close attention to how we feed our livestock. I think the second thing, right, and this was actually Grifton from Valley Farm said this a lot. It's about how they started, right? And he talks about how they started with the local breeds, right, before now thinking about bringing in the boa. I understand the local breeds could be cheaper. In Uganda, even their local breeds are not bad. They are very big. But in Ghana and in Nigeria has the Sokoto, which is also big. But in Ghana, where the dwarf goats are very small, what is really the value that we can create from it, right? It is very hard for you to really even feed them well, take care of them well, and still have the size that can bring you value. Why? Because those goats have been so crossbreeded, right? Nobody has a trace of them. The genetics is just bad. And therefore, no matter how much you try, you are not going to be able to succeed very well in that sector, right? I understand they're cheap, but if you want to do it well and you're serious about livestock farming, then start with the right breed. Make sure you get the right breed. I know most of you know that we started importing the Boa goats, the Kalahari, the Savannas, the Dopa sheep, and so on to Ghana. We are doing this because we want to start well, and we want to encourage other farmers to do as well. So if you're in Ghana or Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina, or Nigeria, and you want to follow the footstep of what we are doing, then let us know so that we can add you to our next order. But if you look at our farm, you know, we do have some local goats, and I started with that because I wanted to learn, you know, how to take care of goats. What are some behaviors? But the moment I got that right, after a year, I knew what I wanted to do. I know the knowledge that I've gathered from it. And right away, I started by importing goats from South Africa. And these are the goats that I'm going to breed to be able to move my farm to the next level. So the breed really counts, even with pigs, with cows, right? Whatever lifestyle that you want to go in, you want to make sure that you have the right breeds so that the money and the investment that you're making towards their feed, right, will yield the right results, or even the demand. Right now, if you have 20 Boer goats in Ghana, you'll be the richest person, because Boer goats are over $1,000, $1,500, $1,700. That is a lot of money, right? And we are paying all this money to bring them because of freight and all these charges that we have to go through, importation fees and so on, right? So there is demand for this. And I want to encourage you, if you have the capital, start it, because the next 3-5 years, we need to be able to supply ourselves in West Africa with the right breed. And join us, because we have a group that we are actually tracking every goat and making sure that we keep the genetic as pure as we can. I told you guys I have 3 things for you. So the last one that I have for you, right, is basically, how are you thinking of your farm, right? A lot of the reasons that, from my view, I think farmers are not doing well is because it has a lot of middlemen, right? And farmers don't get their proceed to the consumer. And that's one thing I learned from Richard from Nguni Farm in Uganda. He's a pig farmer, but he opens his own pig joint, right? He did the calculation. You guys saw it in the video. He told me, you know, the butcher guys will come and buy my pig for $10, for example, right? But if I cut my pig and I actually sell it myself, my profit on that is about $20. So why should I sell it to the butcherman or to the abattoir? So he opened his own joint, and now he's just scaling faster, because every day he kills about 2 pigs. And sometimes he even has to go to other farmers. So now it's even motivating him more to expand his farm, because he needs to meet his own demand, right? And imagine if you're a farmer in whatever village you can think of in your country, and you grow cassava, you grow tomatoes. Somebody comes, pick it up from you, take it to the city, sell at a wholesale to the market woman. He makes 5% profit, 10% profit. The market woman sells it to, you know, small people who will take it out and sell on the street. He also makes 10%, and they now sell to the consumer. All these 5-10% are money that you, the customer, should have been able to make, right? And be able to grow your business. And that is a big factor. And therefore, yeah, you might get the right feeding for them to grow. You might get the right breed that, you know, can have value in terms of selling it and money. But if you're still selling it to middlemen and still selling it to the abattoirs, that is not gonna help. I know when I was in the US, I went actually to a shop that, you know, had their own ranch and will process their meat and sell it. It was just amazing, and I shared that information with you guys. So this is not just now, this cannot happen overnight, right? But I want you to have it at the back of your mind as you're going into livestock farming, that my end goal is not to buy and sell. Even for if you start with the right breed, your end goal is now even breeding to other farmers. Because I don't think any of us want to eat a goat worth $1,500 or $1,000. No. We want to be able to breed so that other farmers can get it. But we're going to pass that stage at a certain point. And therefore, what we have to do next is what? Is to breed and take it to the market. And therefore, how you feed them, how you took care of them will bring the quality taste. You get quality results in your milk, right? And then if you finally decide to sell it, then you now have to think about, how am I getting it directly to the consumer? How am I getting it directly to the restaurant? How am I getting it directly to the hotels? How am I getting it directly to the households, right? And that's where you need expertise. That's where you need partnership. That's where you need logistics. And all this comes in to create that value for you, so that the value chain is an end-to-end thing, right? So I want us to start thinking around this. I don't know where you are in your livestock farming business, but this is the goal for you. This should be your vision. This should be on your drawing board, from your farm to the table, dinner, lunch table of people. And that is how we can create value in our livestock business, in any agricultural business that you're into, but most importantly, in the code business that we are all venturing into now. And I hope this is helpful, guys. Let me know what feedback you have. Let me know what you're doing at your farm. But this, I think it is the way to go. And I'm happy and wanted to share this information with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in another video.